Great. Good morning, and thank you so much for joining NC Tech's Sneak Peek at 2023 webinar. And we're excited to share more information about what we've been working on for the new year, and also to be able to help you plan and build your budgets around sponsorships with NC Tech. I'm Tracy Sternberg, Director of Programs and Sponsorship with NC Tech, and I will be leading this morning's call. I do have a lot of information to cover. Like I mentioned, we'll be taking general questions at the end. If you would like to schedule some time with me, I am happy to do so. I'd love to learn more about what your specific goals are and how we might be able to help you achieve those goals. I'll be sharing my contact information a couple of times during the call, but you're also welcome to find me on the Meet Our Staff page on our website, and it's under About. So we'll go ahead and get started. First, let's start with the basics. As a reminder, NC Tech memberships are corporate, so all employees of member companies, organizations, and institutions can register individually for activities. Many offerings are free for members, several are member only, and others have reduced registration rates for members. Please note that sponsorship is a benefit of membership, so only NC Tech members can sponsor events and activities. There are a few ways you can keep up to date on all of our events and activities. You can visit our website at nctech.org and review our events calendar. Each event will have its own dedicated page with registration links, as well as specific information about what will take place during that event. We've put all of our signature events for 2023 out on our events calendar, as well as many of our recurring events. So go out there and check them out and see what's out there so far. But keep in mind, we continually add events and activities. So I might recommend that you bookmark this page so you can check back easily and often. Also keep in mind that, or keep an eye out for NC Tech's email communications. We send out a monthly newsletter, a mid-month update, as well as special promotions of events from time to time. If you're not receiving these emails, please let me know and we'll get you on the list. We also share a lot of information on social media, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and we're getting off the ground with Instagram. I will say not all of our events and activities are covered on social media, so I would encourage you to defer back to the events calendar, but it's a great way to learn more about the events and stay engaged and join the conversation. I'd also recommend that you join our member-exclusive NC Tech Connect, which is our online engagement platform where you can keep abreast of events and activities, as well as engage in conversation with other members. Each year, we survey our members and leadership to get input on what they'd like to see from NC Tech in the future, and we have reflected a lot of that feedback in our 2023 plans. Lastly, keep in mind that this is just a sneak peek and it is not all inclusive. We will be publishing our new membership at a glance brochure this month, and it will contain a more comprehensive overview. But let's go ahead and get started. First, let's talk about our signature events. These are all, as I mentioned earlier, all of these events have been added to our events calendar for 2021. So you'll be able to find more information about each one of these on that calendar. Our signature events are our largest events of the year, and they're listed here in the order in which they'll take place. First up is our Outlook for Tech. I'm going to hold on that for a minute and share a little bit more about that with you in just a couple of minutes. But after Outlook for Tech is our Diversity and Inclusion in Tech Summit that'll take place in Durham at the Sheraton Imperial on March 30th. This is a great event that we added in 2020, and we're really excited to be hosting it in person for the second year. And it's a great opportunity to come and join conversations that are really important to learn more about how to continue to grow and develop your own diversity and inclusion strategy. So a lot of great speakers and great content there. Next up is our State of Technology Exponential that'll be held June 12th and 13th at the Raleigh Convention Center. This event has been completely refreshed for 2023, and our goal for this year was to make it more engaging for our attendees. So you'll see a myriad of different types of formats for our breakout sessions. We'll continue to do panels, but we'll also look to do some point counterpoint discussions as well as roundtable discussions. And we'll also be incorporating some shorter subject matter expert presentations that will allow for some dialogue between the expert and the audience as well. So we'll continue to have our startup showcase as well as some keynote speakers. So really looking forward to a great event. We will continue to do our speaker call out. So if you have any folks that would be great additions to a panel discussion or one of the other breakout sessions, be on the lookout for more information about how to submit their name for consideration in April. We'll open that on April 12th, and it'll be open for about 2.5 weeks. So be sure to be on the lookout for more information around that. Our next signature event is our Golf Classic. This is a member favorite. It'll be held August 9th, the morning of August 9th at Pinehurst Resort. We're super excited about going back down there again this year. It's just a fun time to be able to network and engage with IT leaders from across the state. And who doesn't love going to Pinehurst, right? Right after we conclude our Golf Classic, we'll shift into our Leadership Summit that'll take place. It'll start on the afternoon of August 9th, and most of the content will actually be held on August 10th. Again, this will be at Pinehurst Resort. We do cap attendance at around 200, and it is geared for senior leaders of our member companies. So it's a great opportunity to be able to engage and network with leaders from across the state. And also we share some great content as well. The next one that's on tap is, is our Summit for Women in Tech that'll be in New Bern again this year. That'll be held on September 27th and 28th. We're very excited to bring this back to New Bern. We held it for the first time in person last year, and it was incredibly well received. And we look forward to building on that momentum with terrific speakers, lots of engagement and networking time, as well as some fun activities around the town of New Bern, which is a beautiful little town towards the coast of North Carolina. So very exciting to be headed back there. And then finally, our last signature event of the year is our NC Tech Awards. This will be held November 1st at the Raleigh Convention Center. And this is our largest event of the year. We typically have over 700 plus folks attend this event. And in 2022, we had a great turnout of well over 700. So during this event, there's no real content per se, but it is a celebration of North Carolina's tech sector. And we celebrate the best and the brightest of tech companies, tech innovations, and tech individuals. So we will be opening up the application process to be considered for one of the tech awards in the summer. So we'll open that up to mid to late June. So be on the lookout for more information there in terms if you're interested in throwing your companies or maybe a company that you work with information or name into the hat to be considered for one of the awards that'll be presented on November 1st. All right, moving on. I told you I was going to come back a little bit and tell you more about Outlook for Tech. As I mentioned, this is our first signature event. It'll be taking place on February 3rd in Charlotte. It'll be at the UNC Charlotte Marriott Hotel and Convention Center. We're very excited to have Sharon Lever, who is their research leader with Forrester, as our opening keynote. She is fantastic, and we'll be making some bold predictions for 2023. We also will have an employment outlook that'll be led by the new dean of the College of Computing and Informatics at UNC Charlotte, as well as a security outlook that will give us the state of cyber resiliency, and that'll be led by Mike Monday with Accenture. We'll also have a couple of panel discussions and a tech expo. You'll be able to engage with companies from around the state and all that kind of good stuff. We're also adding a pre-conference reception this year. So on Thursday afternoon, evening, we'll be gathering over at UNC Charlotte. We will be providing transportation to and from the hotel, so you can easily get to the reception and don't have to worry about parking. But it's a great way to gather and share some fun times and engaging with other NC Tech members from around the state. So looking forward to seeing you there. We do have some sponsorship of opportunities still available if you're interested. So just let me know and we can share more information with you about that. All right. As we move away from our signature events, let's talk a little bit about our executive networks. We have several different executive networks that we execute each year. We have a tech CEO network. This is exclusively for tech CEOs who are headquartered here in North Carolina. We also host a CIO or IT executive network, a CISO or IT security executive network, and we'll be adding a CTO or Chief Technology Officer network this year. We also have our Board of Advisors, and if you're not a member of our Board of Advisors, I would encourage you to consider this. Our Board of Advisors is a group that supports NC Tech and provides feedback and is kind of our go-to group when we're looking for support or information to help us with our, provide engaging and informative opportunities for our membership. We also, the Board of Advisors also provides you with discounted access to our signature events, as well as exclusive opportunities to gather and network. So lots of good reasons to be a member of the Board of Advisors. But in looking at the offerings that fall under our executive networks, we will offer quarterly CIO and CISO roundtables. We are looking to include the CTOs as well this year. We'll offer private CXO dinners. If you are interested in sponsoring a dinner with any one of these groups, we can work with you on dates, timing, location, and all that good stuff. Where you would be the only sponsor in the room, and you would gather around a single table with leadership from across the state. So outstanding opportunities to have an intimate dinner experience with CEOs, CIOs, or CISOs. So good opportunities there. We're also looking to host a couple of IT executive receptions. This will be more of a blended group of IT executives. And we'll host these in the Triangle as well as in Charlotte. And we may look to host one or two additional receptions in the Triad, as well as perhaps Wilmington or Western North Carolina. We'll end the year with our online CXO auction. This is a great and fun way to secure some dedicated time for one of the available CIOs, CISOs, or CTOs. So it's a lot of fun, and the proceeds go to support our education foundation and as well as NC Tech programming. So again, great ways to get involved and participate and engage with leaders from across the state. Now let's move on to our talent and diversity and inclusion networks. We've really expanded this group of offering over the last few years, and we were very proud that we are really a connector in this space. So looking forward to continuing to grow that in 2023. We will continue to offer our virtual tech job expos. We've done those since COVID, and they've been very well received, both from an employer and a job seeker perspective. So they're pretty easy and turnkey from an employer perspective, and being virtual from a job seeker perspective, it allows folks who are on a dedicated job search, as well as those who are more casual job seekers to go and interact with employers from around the state. We've also added a Meet the Employer element that you can add to your job expo booth. This Meet the Employer is a webinar that we host that allows you to share more about your company culture, benefits, and things like that, and kind of what a day in the life at your company would look like. So they've been incredibly well received and have been extremely well attended, and the employers who've done them have been very, very pleased with them. We'll also continue to do virtual and in-person programming. We're going to host the Diversity and Inclusion Summit as well as the Summit for Women in Tech, but we don't want that to be kind of one and done. We want to have these conversations throughout the year because they are very important. So you'll see offerings both virtually and in person for additional programming throughout the year that'll fall under the Women in Tech and D&I. So super excited about that. We'll also be launching, or not launching, but publishing our monthly IT job trends. This is one piece of our research portfolio where we will share data about what kinds of IT jobs are available in the state of North Carolina monthly. We'll do a year-to-year comparison and a month-to-month comparison. So it's really great information to have at your fingertips, and is used by a lot of different entities such as the governor's office, the legislature, commerce, and others, as well as companies, and is often picked up in the media. So great information there. And speaking of research, I want to tell you a little bit about our suite of research and the offerings that we now have in this as part of our portfolio here. We do offer 3 distinct pieces. First is our our State of the Technology Industry Report. The findings for this particular piece of research will be released at our upcoming Outlook for Tech on February 3rd. And basically this element compares how North Carolina's tech sector stacks up against other states in the country. The next piece is our Tech Innovation Index, and I believe this is released in the fall each year. But basically, this compares North Carolina's metros to other metros across the country in terms of the tech sector. The last piece is our IT job trends. As I mentioned in the last slide, this is produced monthly and is basically a snapshot of IT job postings across the state. The great news about this portfolio of research is that if you wanted to become an underwriter for any one of these pieces, you would become an underwriter for all 3. So your branding would be associated with all elements, and which is a great value in my opinion. So if you're interested in learning more about the underwriting benefits and what those look like, I'd be happy to share more information with you about that. All right, now we'll move on to our virtual and in-person programming. I mentioned some that will be focused on D&I and women in tech, but we'll also have other opportunities that will come up. From time to time, we'll do virtual panel discussions, offer executive conversations or briefings, or host special sessions about a given topic or something that might pop up, at the General Assembly or something along those lines. So our goal is to share relevant and timely information with our membership base with these. We'll also host virtual workshops from time to time. And these are really turnkey options for our membership, where basically you bring the content and we handle everything else. So we would handle promotions, registrations, the back end, as well as the platform setup. So it's really, they're really, like I said, pretty turnkey, and again, allows you to bring the content and we take care of everything else. And then lastly, when possible, and we're planning on doing several of these throughout 2023, but we'll be hosting our Tech Working Brews and Bites. These are great opportunities to gather, just have some fun and engagement with other NC Tech members from across the state. Last year, we hosted a couple in Charlotte and a couple in the Triangle, and they were incredibly well attended and a lot of fun. And we look forward to carrying that forward in 2023. All right. The last group that I'll talk about is our governmental affairs activities. So we have three different elements here, and Brooks Rayford, our CEO, generally is the one who owns all three of these. I'll start with our government vendor network. So we host quarterly government vendor network meetings. We hosted one this week, and we had over 80 attendees. But basically in those sessions, we'll have a CIO from a state department or agency come and talk about the projects that they have coming down the pike, and talk about how vendors can get engaged and throw their names in the hat for consideration for those projects. So again, great opportunity for engagement with government leaders from around the state, especially those that are working within agencies or departments. The next is our Tech Day at the Legislature. I know we will be hosting this in 2023. It's a great way to engage with generally the General Assembly and members of the legislature. I know Brooks will work to schedule a briefing and about what leaders are doing to support North Carolina's tech sector. So it's always a great session. And again, it's a great way to touch base with your General Assembly member, to engage with them about what can we do to support North Carolina's growing tech sector. And then we do a DC fly-in from time to time. I'm unclear as to whether or not we'll be hosting this year. I know COVID has sort of put a delay on that, but we generally partner with our organization, our sister organization, CompTIA, to do the DC fly-in, and I believe they are planning to host theirs this year. So be on the lookout for more information about whether or not we will host that this year. But if so, it's a great way to, engage with members of Congress and their staff when it comes to tech issues on Capitol Hill. So, again, Brooks Rayford runs and leads all of these efforts. So again, keep your eye out for more information about each one. As I mentioned earlier, you are welcome to contact me by phone or by email with any specific questions that you might have, or we can schedule a time to talk one-on-one about your organization's goals and how we might be able to help you accomplish them. After this call, I will send out a follow-up email that has links to the events calendar, as well as our 2023 master sponsorship menu. I want to thank you again for joining the call, and I hope you have a great rest of your week.